G'day everyone, Goober here with another Torchlight Infinite Season SS7 video. In this video, I'm taking a recommendation or a suggestion from a YouTube comment just to go over some quality of life aspects of Torchlight Infinite that I feel really sets it apart from other action RPG games. Namely Path of Exile and Diablo 4. Now, in Path of Exile, when you kill an enemy and some loot drops, you have the pleasure of needing to click on every single little thing that you want to loot. However, in Torchlight Infinite, if you have something drop, you can just press the auto loot hotkey, which is A. In my case, you can change that to whatever button that you want. And you can just run through a map just holding down A, and it automatically loots everything that is not filtered from your loot filter, which I think is a phenomenal upgrade. They have enhanced this as the seasons have gone on. I just realized I have a loot filter that I made for a video active, and that's why so much stuff is showing. And that brings me on to the second point, the drop filter. So in my opinion, the loot filter in Path of Exile is complicated. However, the one for Torchlight Infinite, I can interpret and create my own loot filters, and it is super simple. Yes, you can just go to Filter Blade and get a loot filter that someone else has created. I don't really understand it, so that's what I use in Path of Exile. But in Torchlight Infinite, it is extremely easy to go through and set up your own loot filter that suits your specific playstyle and not rely on something that someone else has created for you. And I think that is a big plus for Torchlight Infinite, because the loot filter has evolved over the seasons from player feedback, and it is really quite refined now. It could still use improvement. Everything can always use improvement. But I think that is a pretty big plus for this game. I'll complete this map. You don't need to hear me crap on about much else there. And yeah, I'll see you in a sec. Actually, why not? We can keep it going in this map because it's probably better than me just talking at my character in town. The next thing on the list is the pet system auto switch. Now, the auto switch feature, I'm not sure if it's part of the season pass or not, but in the Pack Spirit screen, you have the auto switch settings. Now, you can have up to 9 different Pack Spirit plans. I believe you get more from the season pass. It's just a little bit of an extra fat for the season pass, I guess you would say. If you didn't have the season pass and you had, say, 3 less, you probably wouldn't have a survival one for getting level 100. You probably wouldn't have an extra DPS one, and you wouldn't have one set up for the league mechanics that you're not really that interested in. However, for this one, there is the auto switch settings. Whenever you're doing any mechanic in a map, as soon as you start that mechanic, there is this auto switch setting which switches to the relevant Pack Spirit plan that you have set up. So, for example, with the dream talking, so when entering a nightmare, it switches to dream when Sweet Dream unlocks. So once you've done that selection that comes up, it switches back to drop quantity. When selecting a dream omen, it selects the dream one, so you're benefiting from the shepherd if you have it. After you have selected that, it goes back to drop quant, which is what I have for my generic maps. When entering Mistville, it automatically switches to Mistville. When entering Path of the Brave, you can set that to whatever you want, maybe DPS, because in PoB, the only thing that is influenced is the Kong pet, who is kind of OP, which is a shame. And that is the same for all of the Supreme bosses as well. So this is a pretty huge quality of life upgrade. If this is part of the Battle Pass, then there is also the auto switch hotkeys that you can set. I've just got mine set 1 through 9, which you can see on the right hand side. It switches between them as we go through. That is actually my point number 4, is the hotkeys that you can use if you don't have the auto switch setting updated. I really like that you can just have the auto loot hotkey selected. One of the other things that Torchlight Infinite does really well is listen to player feedback. So in this part of the game, the Cube of Rapacity, you used to have to click Covet every single time that you wanted to roll this, and it was really quite annoying. In a patch, they added the auto covet button, so you just have to click it once and it automatically goes through the whole lot. Here's a little trick that you can do. You can turn it off. We have hit the Cube of Craving, so you can greed when you hit that. If it hits ×2, we can just go back and keep going. There we go. You just close it, go auto covet, and then keep going. I don't know if this is a bug or a feature. However, it is pretty helpful if you have a lot of desire crystals that you need to use. And then when you go hit, you just get ×2 of everything, which is pretty cool. And then again, vacuum loot, you click on one. Even if you had to click on each one, it just vacuums in all of that loot. Already number 5 on the list. One of my biggest bugbears about Path of Exile is you have to go to an external website to trade, and you have to whisper 50 people just to get one item, unless you just want to overpay drastically. And that's pretty much what kills a Path of Exile league for me, is needing to whisper so many people just to buy basic things. So in Torchlight Infinite, we have a trade house, which is quite comprehensive. The trade booths are a little bit pay to win. You can buy as many as you want, but they cost actual primos. So I don't like that aspect. I think if you gained one, it should transition to the following season as well. However, they are not going to change that feature. So every season, free-to-play players have one booth, and if you get the season pass, then you get 2 booths or 2 tabs that you can sell stuff on. You can set buy orders and sell orders, but from what I mean by that, Flame Elementium is the main currency. You can sell the Flame Elementium for Elixirs of Oblivion, and then if you buy, like if that succeeds, you can just flip currency that way. So in this instance, I sell the 5 Flame Elementium for 25 Elixir of Oblivion, and then I can sell 23, which is what you have after the tax, for 12, gaining about 5 or 6 Flame Elementium profit. If someone is very desperate for these, they have Flame Elementium, they can go into, or they can search for that and sell items that way. I find that it's probably just the bots that run the economy that are filling those orders. If there's a trade house, Path of Exile is no exception. If there is an economy, bots will be running it, and the players are just benefiting from how that is set up. So the trade house, you can buy almost anything on here except bound equipment, and if you want to put in a little bit more effort, say for the prairie set, when Sparks set the prairie ablaze, it is often cheaper to buy the cards and combine those yourself than to buy it outright. 400 is ridiculously cheap. They go for about 4,000 earlier in the season. This season ends in about 5 days, so that's why all the prices are a bit scuffed. But if you want to put in a little bit more effort, then you can definitely profit off the trade house if that is the type of content you enjoy. Next up, we have the automation of skills. Other games, you have to manually press everything, which does my head in. I don't really agree with the total automation that Torchlight Infinite has. Maybe main skills shouldn't be able to be automated, which the activation mediums can do currently. However, that was brought in with a league mechanic. Without those, that league mechanic pretty much dies. So if they take out this, then they're taking out that league mechanic, which they don't really seem to do. I do agree with it for things like Path of Flames or your buffs, so Starstalker. Even the default preparation that you can get is quite decent. It has a long cooldown compared to the mediums, so 5 seconds versus 8 seconds. However, you don't have to think about it. Even if it's down for a couple of seconds, who cares? At the start of the season, you just go the freebie one, and you can buy any skill or almost any skill just from the shop here. You can't get the super good ones like the precise skills this way. You have to target farm them from other content. So all your buffs can be automated. All your auras, once you activate them, they're just activated. When you die, you don't have to reactivate them. They're just always active. That is a pretty huge quality of life over other games that I've seen. I'm not sure if PoE has updated that, but all I remember is playing other classes in PoE where you die and then you have to hit Control, QERT, and then ERT and cast your 8 auras, and it is annoying as all hell. Actually, I feel like that has been updated in PoE, but it used to be super annoying. Next up, I have good value for the Battle Pass. So most games are propped up by a Battle Pass type thing that you have going. In Torchlight Infinite, it is no different. They did change it this season, so it used to be week 1 you could do X quests, week 2 you can do more quests, week 3 you can do more, and you would have to come back every week until week 6 to complete your Battle Pass. Now it is just all unlocked at the start. The quests kind of follow a difficulty scaling of week 1 through to 6 anyway, but if you are hardcore enough, you can definitely complete the season pass in the first week and be done with it, get all your rewards and move on. There is a lot of decent rewards in the free area. However, if you unlock the season pass, then you get all these extra ones down the bottom. So advanced auto loot, it doesn't pick up everything, but we have the auto loot key anyway. So if you're running maps and this auto picks up flame sand, towards week 2 or 3, flame sand is not worth anything. It's not even worth picking up. So not having this is not the end of the world. As long as your loot filter is set up correctly, you'll be able to filter all of the garbage items anyway, and you'll be able to blitz the maps, because some things are auto picked up even without the advanced auto loot, which is really quite nice. Going through, you do get the new character every season. It is the only character that you currently have to pay to unlock. Previously, you would get hero memory, hero tokens or something. So on average, every season you could unlock a new character. Now that there's so many characters, this season they trialed just giving everything except for the new character away for free, which was fantastic in my opinion. You do get an extra trade booth tab. You get a portal, which is pretty cool. But nothing in here is going to make you more powerful than the free season pass up the top there. So it is not a pay to win season pass. Like these just give you emblems or an ultimate crystal, which is just cosmetics. So it's not going to make you more powerful than anyone else. It does help with the advanced auto loot, but that can be circumvented through a good loot filter. I do like getting the extra portal effects, even though some of them are pretty garbage, but I also like supporting the game in that aspect. Another thing that I really like about Torchlight Infinite, at least on the Asia server, I play on the Asia server because I am Australian, the chat in World is actually quite friendly. There's not many trolls. There is a couple of people that do it and you know who they are. You can easily block them, but most of the time it's kind of just funny to read the chat. Or on the Torchlight Discord, we have the general chats, which is just here. So if you ask a question in here, chances are someone will be helpful and answer your question effectively, versus other games where you ask a question and they tell you to quit playing the game because you're nothing but a stupid noob. It is a really friendly community, which I really enjoy making content for. And yeah, I mean, it's just a fun community to interact with and ask questions. Even I ask a lot of questions, even though I've been making content for about 9 seasons now. It's just a really good community. I'll just leave it at that. Next up, we have another thing. You don't have to go to YouTube to find good builds and stuff. It's all in game here. You can just go to pro builds. Unfortunately, it is region locked, so you may have to switch to, say, an EU server to look at their builds, switch to the Asia server to look at their builds. I think you need to get to level 10 or something to look at the builds. However, they're all in here, and you can just go to a build, you can hit apply, and that applies it to your character, so it's super easy to follow. The only thing that it doesn't copy across is the gear. It will copy all of the skills. So when you go into your skill menu and you go to change a skill, it will put it there saying this is the one that was from the build that you are following. If you are putting in talents for your tree, it will circle the talent tree options that you should be going for. Obviously, I need more points for these nodes here, but that is the 6 levels or whatever that I'm missing. I don't know why I didn't do it, but whatever, I didn't. So it shows you everything that you need to do, and it's not just your build that you can follow that way. There are multiple ways of getting this. It's either through here, or you can enter a build code that someone has shared. You can share it to the chat. You can share it in a video if you are watching it on YouTube. I'm not saying that you have to. And there are a like system. So if you want to follow this guy's build, it's been upvoted 280 times. It's probably pretty decent. Yeah. So pro builds from there, you can have a collection of builds that you want to try out, or the ones that you have shared yourself. You can share 15 builds, or you can follow a creator who has uploaded a lot of builds. Yeah, it's pretty cool. And it's not only builds, it is also loot strategies. So it gives you a beginner loot strategy. It's been upvoted 1,300 times, or you can just go through and search for one that you like. Or again, you can follow a creator, have your collection, or all the ones that you like and share, and yeah, whatever. So that will apply it to your map device, so it's easy to follow the skills that you need to put in here. It shows that these 3 are used, and then it'll highlight each of the nodes that you should be putting points into. I touched on the next point before. You don't see a flask bar down here. I don't have to press 1 2 3 4 5 1 2 3 4 5 1 2 3 4 5 1 2 3 4 5 just to play the game. There are no flasks to manage. That's all I have on that one. Next up, it's not just a game like in, say, Diablo 3 where you do rifts, you get a couple of legendaries at the end. It's not target farming, and you're just doing the same thing over and over, and you're not really target farming anything. In Torchlight Infinite, each zone has its own separate exclusive memory card that you can, fluorescent memory, that you can target farm. Each area boss has its exclusive drops that only it can drop. The Rift boss, the Traveler, has his own specific drops that only he can drop. All of the Void bosses in here, they have their own specific loot pool that you cannot get these drops anywhere else in the game. You have previous league mechanics like Eterna. If you want to do soul candle fusions, you can only get soul candles from either the Void boss for Eterna or in this league mechanic. There is a lot of target farm potential in Torchlight Infinite, so you can really specialize in how you want to progress over other games where it's just, hey, you've got 5 legendaries that dropped here. Are they garbage? Probably. All right, move on to the next one. So I really like that you can focus on whatever type of content that you want. If you never want to enter a map, you don't have to. You can just go to the auction house, look up reverberations, go to search, reverb, and you can just buy the keys and do Eterna all day, every day until you're absolutely sick of it, because you don't have to run the map to get these. You can just go to the auction house, buy the keys, and run it to your heart's content. And the auction house is so active. I'm going to say it's run by bots because it probably is. You can list stuff up at the minimum and it will sell pretty much instantly, all day, every day, throughout the entire season, even in the dying minutes of the league, which is fantastic. The next one, I may be a little bit biased, but I really enjoy the interaction that Torchlight Infinite, the community manager Andre, has with the content creators. In the content creator chat on Discord, if we ask a question or we report a bug, often it is reported to the dev team within an hour or two, which is absolutely phenomenal. If someone in my Discord reports a bug to me, I can just go on there, report it in the tech support, and it is fixed within a day generally, unless it is a major problem. Then it might take a little bit longer, but the interaction with the community managers, Andre, is, in my opinion, pretty decent. Also, even the previous ones, we had GG Lauren, who held a Crow's Corner, which was a deep dive into battle mechanics every week, which was pretty fun to interact with. It was very interesting seeing the questions in English and Chinese, and how they would interact and explain those mechanics away. You can always go and look at the previous Crow's Corners in the official Discord. we've got the crow's corners here, and you can just scroll up if you are ever interested in the transcripts from previous crow's corners. You may have to search through a bit to get all the info. However, there is an absolute ton of information within these transcripts of how the game actually works. So it may be worth a read if you're that way inclined. The next one I already touched on in that map, which is the devs implementing player suggestions. So the way that you used to have to load a map was you would have to go in. People still say that this is too many clicks just to get into a map. It might change, who knows? But you used to have to apply your Netherrealm resonance. You had to apply the compasses every single map. Now you can just do a map, and for that entire sequence of 4 maps, it keeps your settings. It does keep all your maps even, your compasses even throughout new sequences. But if I was to go and do a new map now, I wouldn't have to put in the Netherrealm resonance again. It would just automatically be there. I'm not sure if this is going to work because that was the same map. So if I go next, it already has everything in there ready to go. I can just go open portal and get into the next level. You used to have to do all that, come over here and go into the portal. Now when you activate it, it just loads the new map, which is a pretty huge quality of life upgrade. Sure, they could probably make it even better, but I mean, they put in a lot of quality of life upgrades every single season. And finally, to try and keep this video under 30 minutes, my final one is the devs are not afraid to try new things. Everyone knows that they change a lot every single season, which is every 3 months they change a lot of mechanics. The league mechanics that they have implemented previously pretty much stay the same, so your farming strategies won't change too much. How you interact with the confusion cards and stuff is ever evolving, and it has seen great strides in the right direction. Crafting has been vastly improved this season, where you just interact with each affix. It's not just filling random spots. There is an auto craft option here. You have everything that you would want in a crafting system currently in the game. You can corrode stuff. After you've corroded it, you can come down and put in dream interpretation. Some of these things didn't used to work after you've done certain ones. The crafting system this season is the best so far, as in it's not super boring, it's not instant, but it is pretty darn quick. Some of the costs can be massaged, like the flame elementium cost is quite insane when you get bad RNG. However, that just means that you can go and farm and get stuff that way. And if things don't work, like last season in season SS5, Deep Space was removed from the game and it was atrocious. So the best farming was in time mark 7.2. They had time mark 8. They did not have profound and they did not have deep space. It's the first season they had removed deep space for a fair while, and tier 8 was not worth doing. So you would just farm in 7.2. That only was missing for one season, and then they put deep space back in. They gave it a huge drop quantity boost. Shame about some of the text files here. Rich text ID equals 3888. What is that? Who knows? It's sacred fossils, but that's only known by trial and error. But yeah, so they do try new things, and if it doesn't work and if it's absolutely horrendous, they just get rid of it. Plasticity was around for far too long, but they got rid of it. Hopefully it doesn't rear its head back up. I like that it doesn't exist anymore. So that's all I've got for this video. If you agree with this, or if you have some extra quality of life highlights that Torchlight Infinite has that other games may not have, please let me know in the comments below. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.